Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila Chapter 3 Text 19 Translation. I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nama Sankirtana, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the four mellows of loving devotional service. Text 20. Apani karimu bhakta bhava angikare, apani achari bhakti shikai musabare. Translation. I shall accept the role of a devotee and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. Purport. When one associates with a pure devotee, he becomes so elevated that he does not aspire even for sarshti, sarupya, samipya or salokya, because he feels that such liberation is a kind of sense gratification. Pure devotees do not ask anything from the Lord for their personal benefit. Even if offered personal benefits, pure devotees do not accept them, because their only desire is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by transcendental loving service. No one but the Lord Himself can teach this highest form of devotional service. Therefore, when the Lord took the place of the incarnation of Kali Yuga to spread the glories of chanting Hare Krishna, the system of worship recommended in this age, He also distributed the process of devotional service performed on the platform of transcendental spontaneous love. To teach the highest principles of spiritual life, the Lord Himself appeared as a devotee in the form of Lord Caitanya. And text 21. Apanena kaile dharma shikanana yaya hita siddhanta gita bhagavate gaya. Unless one practices devotional service himself, he cannot teach it to others. This conclusion is indeed confirmed throughout the Gita and Bhagavatam. Yuga dharma pravatai munama sankirtana charibhava bhakti diya nachamu bhuvana. I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nama Sankirtana, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the four mellows of loving devotional service. So, today is the appearance day for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Yuga avatar. He is the incarnation for this age, and actually he is Krishna himself, who has appeared as a devotee to show how to serve Krishna in the mood of a pure devotee. And now this chapter is called External Reasons for the Appearance of Lord Caitanya. And the next chapter, chapter 4, describes internal reasons or confidential reasons. And here there is no title of the chapter. So these are external reasons for the descent of Lord Caitanya. One of them is to spread the holy name of the Lord. One of the internal reasons for his appearance is that he wanted to taste the mellow of love of himself. Once he has seen his form in the mirror, and he was amazed how beautiful this person is. Now you may say, is God narcissistic maybe? Or something like that? But actually no. He's the original person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is full of 6 opulences, one of them is beauty. And it's natural that even he is shocked by his own love. But also what he has seen is that his primary servant, Srimati Radharani, is enjoying more in serving him than he is enjoying in being served. So that's like a contradiction. And then he wanted to taste this mood, and I think in the afternoon we will speak a little bit more about this, how Srimati Radharani has this attitude of unconditional love, and she is ready to do anything for his pleasure. But let us go back to this external reason, one of the external reasons for appearance of Lord Caitanya, and this is to spread the holy name of the Lord. So, I think only God can come up with something like this, to make it so simple, with 3 words, combined into 16, with 3 words, and with simply dancing and embracing and feeding people to spread the love of God, to spread the love of God. Namo Mahaprabhu Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Caitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha, which means
Namo Mahaprabhu.
Namo Mahaprabhu.
There is no one like Lord Caitanya. He's the most merciful.
Okay,
most
more? What else this verse says? Krishna Prema Pradayate. He is delivering Krishna Prema Pradayate for free. Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishna Krishna Caitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha. The most merciful incarnation, Mahavadanyaya avatar, is the most merciful incarnation. Why? Because he is distributing freely something that no one has given before. Krishna Prema, pure love of Krishna. So, before I continue, I want to mention something that maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but I want to mention it now so that I don't want to forget it by the end of the class. When Krishna decided to, this is what I heard. I don't know from which scripture it is, I heard it from some devotees, so I cannot quote the scripture. When Krishna decided to come to the material world as Lord Caitanya, his flute wanted to go with him. But he said, well, I will not play a flute in the form of Lord Caitanya, so you cannot come with me like this. But you can come in another form. So, flute, Krishna's flute, actually acquired a form of mridanga. And since the first mridanga came to the West, I think Mukunda Maharaj was there, and Prabhupada said that mridanga, he immediately, when first mridanga arrived at the first temple, then Prabhupada immediately wrapped it, and he said also that it shouldn't go on the floor. So therefore we always have something for mridanga. We don't put a mridanga on the floor. Mridanga is Krishna's flute, but appeared in this form. It appeared in this form so that it can accompany the Lord in his pastime as Lord Caitanya. And I remember my first encounter with the pictures of Lord Caitanya, Lord Nityananda and Harinam party, which would go through the Navadvip and Bengal, pictures, paintings of Lord Caitanya and Lord Nityananda and the other members of the Panchatattva and other devotees, and it was so amazing to see. And I remember devotees from England sent me a badge, something you stick on your clothes. You know what is a badge? And there was a head of Lord Nityananda. It was so beautiful. I love this. Still today, I love this. Sometimes you can see it on Facebook or on Google Images. You can find this picture, this particular picture, which is beautiful. I still don't know who painted it, and I remember thinking, wow, this is so beautiful. They're just going around and dancing and singing. And then when I read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, they are also feeding people, and they're also embracing people, and people are becoming completely transformed simply by this love and by this music and by this dance and by this food. So for me, this was something that I have never ever seen anywhere. Before that, I was reading about Christian saints who would actually fast in the desert. So you read about saints and you read about austerities and fasting and not eating. But here, these people are practicing spiritual life of overeating, eating too much. So I was thinking, this must be God, because God, He's not normal. When He comes up with something like this, which is so like, it's like a festival for the senses. And of course we have austerities. Today we fast until the moonrise, and moonrise is, I have seen what time is the moonrise. It's 6:11 in Koeln, in Koeln, PM. But for me, it was just shocking, the whole experience, getting in contact with Krishna consciousness and seeing these apostles of love, of divine love, walking around. And then later when I heard the song Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gora Chandra Bole, Kota Nidra Yao Maya Pishachira Hole. Beautiful song. And that time, actually, the first version I heard was from Bhagavan, from former spiritual master. He had a very nice version of this song he was singing, and then from this song I understood what they were doing. It was a little bit later after I joined. What they were doing, they were waking up the fallen souls. So Jeev Jago means wake up sleeping souls, wake up sleeping souls. Gaurachandra, he is singing Bole, Kota Nidra Yao Maya Pishachira Hole. Wake up from the slumber, from the deep sleep of being in illusion, and Pishachira Hole, you are captured by the witch of Maya or illusion. Pishachira means witch. You're captured by the witch of Maya. So they are going, and they used to go early in the morning. They used to go early in the morning to actually sing, and they would sing also Jeev Jago. They would sing "Wake Up, Sleeping Souls, Wake Up, Sleeping Souls." So it was so beautiful to see. And then I visited my first temples, and I spent some time there in Vienna and Villa Vrindavan in Italy, in Vienna in Austria. And when I came back, I immediately started to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, because I was thinking, if they go early and sing, I can at least get up early at my home and chant japa. So it was a beautiful experience. And devotees would send me They would send me back to Godhead magazine from England. They would send me, even they sent me Mahaprasadam in the envelope of the letter, like some small crumbs. And they would say, oh, we send you special food. And then they would send me, I send them dinners, because I used to live in my country, in Serbia, ex-Yugoslavia. And I send them dinners, but for them dinners is nothing. This is the currency of my country. And I send them the amount which is the price of the Bhagavad Gita. But so they sent me second-hand Bhagavad Gita for free, because these dinners were nothing for them. And this was the Bhagavad Gita that had shorter purports and no Sanskrit. This is the first Bhagavad Gita I got. It was I started reading it, and then I think they sent me japa and incense. And as I mentioned before, I didn't know how to chant japa. I thought that actually chanting means singing. And so when I got the beads, and I didn't have Prabhupada's tape yet, they sent me later Prabhupada's tape of chanting japa, I was singing 16 rounds on my beads. And it took me whole day. But I think I got purified a little bit. And I would walk around my city. It's in the south of Serbia, on the hills. I will walk around and like meditate, contemplate, think about my life, and look at my city, look at my little life there. And when I would come in the evening, I would look at the mirror. I couldn't believe how my eyes were shining. I was thinking, what is this? I mean, this mantra must have some magical effect on me. And I felt so good. So these were my first experiences with the holy name. And I had this picture of Harinam in my head, of Lord Caitanya, Lord Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, and Srivas. And at that time I didn't have Chaitanya Charitamrita. I didn't know what they were doing. I knew that they were walking and singing, but I didn't know the details. And now in Chaitanya Charitamrita and in Teachings of Lord Caitanya, the summary study of this life and teachings of Lord Caitanya, there is a detailed description of what they were doing. Of course, they were going to homes of people, and they were preaching. He was defeating, Lord Chaitanya was defeating Mayavadis, and they went to the house of Advaita Acharya also. And Lord Nityananda complained about the amount of prasadam, it was too little. I remember also complaining to one devotee. His name is Sundarananda Prabhu. He is running a center in Zagreb, Croatia, called Bhakti Yoga Center. And he's catering. So they are delivering. You can order, pay, and get a box, nice plastic box of very, very, very tasty preparations of prasadam. And so he brought me once the standard amount that they deliver to their customers who are satisfied with that amount. But for me, it was too little. So this is the first time I complained about the amount of prasadam. So, and I gave him, of course, I gave him feedback about the amount of prasadam, and he said, next time we make sure you get double or something. Double the amount. I mean, how much it can fit there. It couldn't fit double, but something like that, like 1/4 or something more than this. And I remember that this pastime of Lord Nityananda complaining that he got too little prasadam, but although it was actually a lot, it was a huge amount. But he was just joking, and he wanted to tease Advaita Acharya that why are you giving me so little? So one part of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya is actually feeding devotees, but not feeding them like a snack, but feeding them huge meals. And it is said that with his hand, which was very big, he would take prasadam and give it, and when they get from his hand, he has a big hand, then sometimes they would say enough, but he would put more, even on top of their heads. So, there is no in when you serve prasadam. They don't accept no as an answer. So there is always you get more than you can take. And nowadays, devotees they have a system that when they come for a festival or for a feast, I don't know if you have it here, but in Zagreb there is some devotees who regularly bring plastic boxes to bring prasadam home to distribute to their family or to have more for themselves. In this way, no prasadam is left or wasted, or no prasadam goes to the animals. Because devotees are so eager to distribute prasadam and to take more themselves. And another thing that Lord Chaitanya was doing, it said, Panchamukha. What does Panchamukha mean?
5 faces.
5?
Faces.
5 faces?
5 names.
Guru Mukha Padmavakya. What is that? Mukha? Mouth. Okay, so it is said that one of the names of Lord Chaitanya is Panchamukha, that he was talking as if he has 5 mouths. So maybe you have this experience that some people are talking a lot. You cannot stop them. Sometimes you have to excuse yourself. Sorry, I have to go to the toilet. Because you see, they have such a momentum that you have no hope that they will stop. So, but what was Lord Chaitanya with his one mouth? He was speaking as if he has 5 mouths. What he was doing with his 5 mouths, he would glorify devotees. He would glorify devotees. Especially he liked to glorify Haridas Thakur, who was Namacharya. He was a Muslim. I have a friend whose father is a Muslim, and she can actually tell her father that our Acharya is a Muslim. Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur, he is a Muslim. Our main devotee is a Muslim. Main devotee from the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, the most favorite devotee of Lord Chaitanya, was born in a Muslim family, and he became exemplary teacher of the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And he did magical wonders with the holy name. He would turn prostitute into a Vaishnavi with the magic of the holy name. Who can do that? In which tradition we hear this kind of magic? Then also Lord Chaitanya would preach to Muslims, and he would show from Quran that they shouldn't eat meat. So if you have in your family, like in Bosnia, there is devotees also whose parents are Muslims, and they can show them, and they can learn this. Actually, there is one devotee who preaches in Turkey and other countries, and he has a brochure about preaching to Muslims based on Quran. So everything is there in Krishna consciousness, and fanatical Muslims, they would actually kill you if you say that God has feet. Bhaktivaibhava Maharaj, who probably sometimes comes here, he was once preaching in the Middle East, and in one program he said that God has feet, and one guy started to chase him with a knife, and he ran out, and fortunately he was quick. Fortunately, one car came, and he got into a car. Somehow Krishna sent a car. It wasn't a taxi, but the car stopped, and he came and saved his life. He saved his life. So I don't know how many times he went there, but in 92 we went to Albania also. Maharaj and three more devotees and myself. It's like for the first time. They say it was for the first time ever. I don't know if it's true. Maybe Bhaktivedanta Swami, he went to all the countries in Balkans in the 70s when Prabhupada was here. So I don't know if he went to Albania, but we went. It was after communism fell. After communism fell, immediately a religious organization started flocking to Tirana in Albania, and they wanted to actually preach. And we had we had a program for 70 people in a very, very prestigious hall, smaller, prestigious hall. Yoga teacher was a translator. We find one lady, and we distributed 200 reservoirs of pleasure in Albanian, which we had, and we distributed all of them. Actually, 3 devotees distributed. Maharaj and I didn't distribute, but 3 other devotees who were with us, they distributed 200, and so we had to photocopy because there was more demand. We had to photocopy this small book and distribute photocopies. And so Maharaj and I was making sweet balls for the program, and then we went to the TV and asked them if they can feature us in their main news, if they can make an announcement that tomorrow we have a program, and they agreed. They made a few minutes, they made a recording how we're singing, and they said, tonight there will be some Indian spiritual program or something like that. And people came, 70 people came. I mean, it was very short time to organize, so 70 was good for this short time. To advertise, to organize. And in the morning, they sing Quran very loudly on loudspeakers. So you cannot avoid it, you have to hear it, because it's everywhere, it's loud. And Maharaj used to imitate these Muslim priests, how they sing Quran. Also, Maharaj is, I don't know if you know Maharaj, Bhaktivinoda Maharaj, he sometimes looks very serious, very sober, and sometimes people are afraid of him. But actually he's very, very humorous. So, we got this, double bed for the couple to sleep. We got a double bed, a hotel room, and 3 men were inside, so we couldn't fit in this bed. So, so I slept on the floor, and Maharaj and another devotee who was senior to me, they slept on the double bed. No, actually, only Maharaj slept on the double bed. We both slept on both sides of the double bed. We slept on the floor. And then in the night we would hear something like this. And we were shocked, both of us. We get up from our sleeping bag and look, what is he doing? Maharaj is beating the pillow, and he says, the yogi's seat shouldn't be too high and too low. So I think the pillow was too high and he couldn't sleep, and he got a little angry that he started beating the pillow to make it flat. But he shocked us because it was very loud. The beating was very loud. And so, I mean, he was. Then when we were speaking, I said, Maharaj, will you bring me to Middle East when you preach there? I would like to preach in Muslim countries. He said, okay, let's first do Albania, then we will go there. And it was in 92. And after this, for so many years, nobody went there. And we got 40 addresses. I had them with me, 40 addresses. And I think I sent some letters to some people, but they didn't reply. And we got the permission to import Prabhupada's books to the universities. Written permission with a stamp. Actually, these 2 devotees, this couple who distributed books, they got this. And so somehow, Suhotra Maharaj was the GBC for Albania. And I think he didn't go there. Maybe he went once. So he asked Bhaktivinoda Maharaj to go. And now Bhaktivinoda Maharaj is GBC for Albania. But now Croatian devotees are going there regularly, and they are starting to go more frequently. And now from Czech Republic, forgot his name, Trilokatma Prabhu is going, and I made an interview with him, and he was telling me, how people are so interested, they want him to stay there. He's a brahmachari. They want him to stay there and to support them in their Krishna consciousness. In Albania. Albania is a small country, it's like Muslim and Christian, but more Muslims. So, to preach in dangerous places pleases the Lord a lot because you are risking your life. But this risk should be reasonable risk. Not some crazy ego trip risk where you want to be a hero and you get killed. No, it should be a very reasonable risk. And I mentioned also this devotee from Croatia who actually distributes books in Istanbul, in Turkey. It's very dangerous to distribute Prabhupada's books in Istanbul. But he does 15 minutes one area, 15 minutes another area, so that they cannot catch him. You know, he is moving. Now he is distributing in China, which is also risky. And he is amazing. When I saw him first, I thought, who is this? Why? This guy looks, When I first saw him in the bathroom in the Zagreb temple, I didn't know him. Later I heard who he is. He's a legend. But he was also a legend before Bhakti Yoga as a drug dealer. So, you see, as a drug dealer you have to be tough and you have to be courageous to do this, because you can get caught by the police, you meet tough guys, you meet criminals. I mean, to sell drugs, you have to be really, really bold. You have to be courageous. And he used this courage to distribute books of Prabhupada. And he's very successful. He was always win the marathon in Croatia. He would always win. And then he got married to a Chinese Mataji, and then he went there. And he always distributes in risky places, and he doesn't mind. So this kind of preaching pleases Krishna and Lord Caitanya very much. And Lord Nityananda also, you know the pastime of Jagai and Madai. He and Haridas Thakur were going from door to door and preaching. So they were first door-to-door preachers. Nowadays, devotees don't go in pairs, but Mormons, they go in pairs, nicely dressed. They always go two together so that, Maya doesn't catch them, which is a good strategy. So Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur went together and door-to-door preaching. So devotees also devotees do door-to-door preaching, and this is very nice. But sometimes my experience, I was highly unsuccessful in book distribution. Maybe one of the most unsuccessful members of ISKCON in book distribution. So I went door to door and I was rejected. People wouldn't even open. They wouldn't even open the door. They would say, "Oh, we are not interested. We don't have money. We have no time." And it hurts when they don't even open the door. But they look through this, how you call it? Yeah, they look and they see me, and then they say, "Oh, we don't need. We are not interested." And then, so I had a hard time accepting rejection. Now later I learned that rejection is very good because you become very strong. But then there was, at that time when I joined, there was a mother of a child, a Mataji. She was the wife of the temple president, Gandharvika. She was a very devoted Christian before Bhakti Yoga, almost fanatical preacher. So he already had some toughness in preaching. She wouldn't give up so easily. Christian people, they can also be very strong in preaching. They don't let you go so easily. Maybe Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't know. And what she would do, now we have these quiet counters, very sophisticated plastic, but we used to have these metal ones which make click, click, click. So she would count how many people would reject her. and I thought, I was so ashamed. I mean, after maybe 5-10 rejections, I go back to the temple, eat a lot of prasadam to cover my frustration. Or buy bananas and yogurt, sit on the bench in the park and cry that I'm so useless. But she is a mother, and she goes with the child also with the cart, and she's counting how many people reject her. And what is the result of that? That at the end of the day, because she didn't give up, she distributes a set, or she distributes 10 books, or she distributes 20 books. And I was so ashamed. And my temple president, her husband, he would tell me, he said, I would be ashamed to go back to the temple and distribute 0 books. That was me. He said, my false ego wouldn't let me come back. And I said, oh, if I would have such a false ego, I would be so happy to actually distribute at least 1 book. And my first book was Ishopanishad, and I distributed it in a very smoky restaurant, which was in the cellar, in the middle of Zagreb, in the center of Zagreb. And I was so excited that I distributed 1 book that I couldn't distribute even 1 more book the whole day. So I came back and temple president said, good job. He was a good motivator. First, he was a very, very negative motivator, but then he saw that negativity doesn't work with me. So he said, good job, you distributed. So this was my first Sankirtan. But I have shed a lot of tears by being unsuccessful. And my highest score was 24 books in Bosnia. And I was so proud that I distributed vegetarian cookbook in a meat shop. I forgot other books that I distributed, but I remember among my highest score was 24 books, and one of them was cookbook in the meat shop. So this was a mercy of Lord Caitanya, Lord Nityananda, to be able to distribute. And later we actually, I was so enthusiastic to distribute books that we had a table at the Sunday feast, and Sunday feast was public. That means 200 people came, and we would distribute more books on that table because we are just pushing than the Sankirtan devotees during the week. We would beat their scores sometimes. So even I couldn't do it so much on the street, but we could do it on the table. Not only me, there was other devotees. We also had bread. We sell bread, and then we also sell books. And so what we would say when people say we have these books? What do you say when people say, I have this book?
Take another for your family.
Yes, yeah. Take for your family, take for your friends, take for your neighbors. You know, there is always an excuse to sell a book. So this is very, very nice that you never take no for an answer. You never take no for an answer. There is always a way that they can say yes. So this was the mood of the preaching of Lord Caitanya and Lord Nityananda. And for example, Lord Caitanya would not take no from Mayavadis. He would continue to preach them, and because they are attracted to light and he was shining, they were attracted to him and his beauty, and he would convert them completely. He would convert Muslims. He would do magic. He would preach to animals also in the Jarikanda forest. He would preach to animals, and they would also start to chant in some way, as the animals can chant. There was recently one video how devotees chanting with harmonium, and near him one dog is trying to sing, and he was singing "Ow, ow." So animals are also attracted to kirtan, and sometimes the dog in the kirtan stands on 2 legs, because the power of the holy name is so strong that even animal gets spiritually awakened and wants to dance. And now, of course, one big pastime that Lord Caitanya did is dancing. And Prabhupada was so pleased. He was so pleased that when devotees would dance, and he would say, dance like Lord Caitanya, like this. I remember my first dream of Prabhupada was how he was dancing. And I have never seen his video before. And then when I saw the video where Prabhupada is dancing with the hippies in San Francisco under this big bridge, it was the same as it was in my dream. He was a little bit nonchalant and a little bit relaxed and, very peaceful. This is how I saw him in my dream, dancing. And of course, it was also impressive that a 70-year-old person dances with young people. So now this dancing it starts, slow and nice, but then it becomes very wild. The dancing becomes wild, and devotees also sometimes dance very wildly, and people get so inspired. Then all kinds of people join this dance. For example, at the Jagannath festival, and drunkards or young people, they join this dance, and they have this amazing experience of Krishna consciousness. And then after the dance, you have prasadam, and it's a very, very powerful sensory experience. It's like a festival for the senses. I mean, when you come to Krishna consciousness, you have, first of all, feast for the eyes. There is amazing colors. We are not dressed in black. We don't wear hoods. We don't look down. We are not in a reclusive monastery. But everything is so colorful, and devotees are over-sensual sometimes, And funny things happen in kirtans in Woodstock, Polish Woodstock. How many of you have visited Polish Woodstock? No one? How? Polish Woodstock goes on for so many years. Okay. It's a huge holy name platform. I mean, it's a place where devotees chant the holy name. The Dyumna Maharaj organizes, and hundreds of devotees come and chant whole day and whole night. So at the Polish Woodstock, I forgot now what I wanted to say. Can you remind me what I said? I remember. Thank you, I remember. Polish Woodstock. So one funny thing happens in these kirtans, especially in our tent. We have a kirtan tent. There is one bigger tent where also our stage, where devotees play like pop devotional music, but there is one for kirtan and bhajan, just standard, classic. And in that one, people go so wild. And hippies, punks, skinheads, all kinds of people come. And what is really funny is that they imitate devotional dancing, and devotees start to dance rap and all these styles. I saw this, it was so funny. Devotees try to dance mundane styles, and they try to dance as devotees. They want to imitate devotees and try to dance in devotional style. So now we have some kirtans, we dance like this in the morning, and maybe we get a little bit lively, but this is really, really peanuts. When you really dance, then you're sweating like anything, you get really like euphoric, and you can jump a lot, and you don't dance for 10 minutes, but you dance for a couple of hours, and you don't feel tired. So I don't know. I mean, you have nice hall downstairs for dancing. You can run around and do different things there. And we used to hire a hall and have Sunday feast there in Zagreb in the 90s during the wartime. And about 200 people would come. And after prasadam, we would move all the chairs and have a raging kirtan for probably 45 minutes, 1 hour, and people would love it and would never forget it. But you need to have somebody who will fire the audience up, who would lead, or few devotees who would lead. and the people see that they can freely express themselves through dancing, that there is no restriction, And sometimes people have all kinds of strange moves, but they gradually learn how devotees move, so they start to move in their dance movements as devotees do. And then, when we saw videos of Srila Prabhupada dancing, it was amazing. He's jumping. Like London Ratha Yatra, famous video where Prabhupada was dancing also. And when Srila Prabhupada started to dance, then everybody would get completely mad. Devotees are already very fired up to dance, but when he starts to dance or jump, that's really a feast for the eyes and for the heart, to see a pure devotee dance like this, for the pleasure of the Lord. So, Lord Chaitanya's devotees were doing miracles. Lord Chaitanya was sometimes softer than a rose, sometimes harder than the thunderbolt. And he would convert people to Krishna consciousness, sometimes with his love, sometimes with prasadam, sometimes with chanting, sometimes with his embrace only. He had so much power. It is said, Krishna Shakti Vinanahya Tara Pravartana, one who has life, he can preach. And unless one is empowered by the Lord, Krishna Shakti Vinanahya Tara Pravartana, one cannot preach. One has to be empowered by the Lord in order to spread Krishna consciousness. And sometimes young devotees come and they actually immediately have Shakti. I just mentioned this Bhaktin whose father is a Muslim. She brings people to Krishna consciousness very easily. She attracts people. She already preaches. Although she is not initiated, she already preaches Krishna consciousness and has so much power to do that, to attract people. So I think that this is also from previous life, that this is not first life that she practices Krishna consciousness. She has this background and this empowerment, and now she just continues in this lifetime to actually to chant enthusiastically and to give Krishna consciousness to others, to attract people. And she says that in her family, amazing things are happening, although initially family was against, or parents were against. But now there is, in her family, there is a little girl who is mad after Krishna. She is a daughter of her sister. She's mad after Krishna. And she's screaming Krishna in that house. She's just screaming always. And then, because she is mentioning the name of Krishna, then her mother starts to speak. Then they see a picture of Krishna, and then they say, "Oh, is this Krishna?" Yes. Then the mother of this Bhaktin comes, who is not very much inclined to Krishna consciousness. She says, "Oh, this is Krishna." So they all say the name of Krishna, and she gives them prasadam also, brings always from the temple prasadam. And there were other occasions where she distributed a lot of prasadam. So when you see such people, you see they're not the devotees from this life. They're not devotees from this life. They are immediately empowered to attract people to Krishna consciousness, and they have this irresistible urge to give Krishna consciousness, to give prasadam, to give the holy name. So these are special souls. So the most important pastime of Lord Chaitanya, and all these pastimes are permeated with this, is that he is saving the fallen souls. He is saving the fallen souls, and he is giving. And he doesn't see who is qualified, who is not. He is giving freely. He's giving freely. Like sun is shining on the thief and on the pious person, on the good-hearted person. The mercy is distributed indiscriminately to everyone. And Lord Caitanya, he is very beautiful, very attractive. I remember seeing first pictures of Panchatattva. It was such a wonderful experience, and I think this was Yadurani's painting that I saw on one book that we published in Croatia, and she painted them so nicely. So I was thinking, wow, if they are so beautiful, then this is amazing. These incarnations are so beautiful, and they sing beautifully, they look beautiful. It's such an amazing experience. So one thing that we see in Krishna consciousness is that actually it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And sometimes people either hate us or love us. Some people cannot stand Harinam, for example. They just become so disturbed. But some people look like this. They cannot take off their eyes. They say, what is this? Who are these people? So it's maybe you had this experience that Krishna consciousness was so overwhelming in the beginning. And so because people are so fallen, and we have to have something so powerful that there is no more logic. No more logic. They cannot think anymore. They can just feel. Just feel through their skin. Through their skin. And sometimes devotees ask me, how can we preach to Mayavadis? And I say, don't preach to Mayavadis, but you feed them. Because they cannot understand. You cannot argue with them. Just feed them. Let them say some nonsense and feed them tons of food by force. Let them get purified through the mouth, because through the ears and through the eyes it doesn't go in so much. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and I wish you a wonderful festival today. What time is it starting?
4:30.
4:30, okay. So, do you have any questions about the appearance of Lord Caitanya, or any other Krishna conscious question? Yeah?
I have one question regarding their Yuga Dharma is the Sankirtan to chant together.
Uh-huh.
But why then we give a vow to chant japa, for ourselves? If Yuga Dharma is, because we don't give a vow to chant Sankirtan. This was my thought some days ago, which came in.
Uh-huh. Why is part of the Yuga Dharma japa?
Somehow, yes. So the Yuga Dharma is Sankirtan, but
Congregational chanting. Together.
Yes, together.
Uh-huh. Interesting. Uh-huh.
But it will be underlined the importance of japa, and everybody is saying japa is so important. But yes, you understand the question?
Yeah, but if I don't understand, you will explain it again. Yeah. The thing is that we are following the instructions of the representative of Lord Caitanya, and that's Srila Prabhupada, and he taught us what he has learned from previous acharyas, how they were practicing this Yuga Dharma. So we need this individual meditation, and we also practice congregational chanting. But you can also chant japa congregationally, and devotees do that. So they sit together. I don't do this very much, but many devotees chant japa in the temple room. That's also congregational japa. So that's one way to look at this. But devotees say, well, that's my private time with Krishna. So you need some private time with Krishna. Yeah? When you have a lover, you want to have private time with them. So you can love your lover with others, or glorify him, but you also would like to have, because Krishna is so personal. I mean, you can have private time with Krishna. Maybe in the future, if you become a gopi, then you probably can have private time with Krishna, because Krishna, he can expand and he can be at the same time in many places. And it's not that now gopis are waiting, like thousands of gopis are waiting to have darshan of Krishna, and one Krishna is sitting somewhere, and you think, wow, it's such a long time to see Krishna, have Krishna's darshan alone. But he was dancing in the rasa dance at the same time with all the gopis, and in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita it is said that when Krishna is sitting with cowherd boys to eat, that every cowherd boy thinks that he is looking at him. So we want attention of God, and He gives it, and it's very personal. He can do that because He is, all-powerful. So he can, at the same time, He can look at many people. I don't know if this is the answer to your question, but this is the best I can give at the moment. Maybe I can do a research about this question. Maybe somebody asked Prabhupada. Because in conversations there is many questions that devotees have asked Prabhupada. Like this, like little bit tricky questions. Okay, yes?
Yeah, Prabhupada said we should do Sankirtan. So
Yes.
it's also an instruction.
Yeah.
We should do it. But
Yeah.
it's not a vow.
Yeah.
It's more like if you are a little bit fixed and you have some standing done, then okay, you can go.
Yes. Yes. It's amazing. I mean, he gave so many options. 9 processes of devotional service. Even with one, you can attain perfection. Even with only one, you can only overeat, get cirrhosis from ghee, liver problem. Get purified in any kind of possible way. I mean, I have a whole magazine about the glories of prasadam, glories of Mahaprasadam. I can send it to you. It's a PDF file. You have it? You want it?
I want
it.
Me too.
Okay, so I have to upload it. It's more than 25 megabytes. Upload it to my drive, and then I can send you a link and you can download it. Yeah, Krishna consciousness is so overwhelming. So anyway, today at 4:30 the festival is starting. I wish you a wonderful festival. And I will see. Maybe I will also join you in dancing. If I don't have mental problems, not physical problems. If the mind doesn't tell me, oh, you're tired, you're old, and other excuses. So, Hare Krishna. Yes.
I was sometimes a little bit doubt about this prasadam, because some people say you just offer to Krishna the mind, then it's prasadam. Others say no, it has to be done with certain rituals. Then some others say only if a pure devotee offers it to Krishna it will be accepted. Somebody say only tulsi leaf must be there. So many different things are there. So when can we actually say it is actually Krishna prasadam?
I think Krishna accepts any kind of sincere offering. Some standards are higher, some are lower, but I think Krishna accepts. Like my mother, she cannot learn Namo Vishnupadaya, Namo Mahavadanyaya, Namo Brahmanya Devaya. She cannot possibly learn this. So I told her, when you offer with 3 Mahamantras. And she can remember that. Sometimes she also misses. She says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna. But Krishna sees her desire to offer sincerely the food. And I believe he accepts this. So any kind of, I think Krishna is so merciful that he sees this sincere desire of a devotee. So please dance today. Raise your hand especially, because if you raise your arms, it's very difficult to be depressed. It's impossible to be depressed. And we learn from Vijay Gauranga Doyal Nitai that the hands should be always up. And in this way we can make spiritual advancement simply by raising our arms. Okay. Gauranga Mahaprabhu Mahatsava ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.